Alright kids, let's get political. Reunite kids with their families at the border. Here we go. Purge.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the first purge.
We're talking about the purge, guys. Political discussion is going to happen whether you like it or not. I mean, look at the teaser poster. Suddenly my Ted Cruz's Zodiac Killer shirt seems a lot more relevant. Will this be my most disliked video? Who knows? The first Purge is the first Purge film not directed by James DeMonaco, instead directed by Gerard McMurray. It stars Ilan Noel, Lex Scott Davis, and Marissa Tomei, and it tells the story of, well, the first Purge. Being referred to only as the experiment, the government decides to test the concept of the Purge on the island of Staten Island, New York, in a controlled environment where they can monitor the results. And it's met with some resistance and some support, and then we get, you know, crazy action horror movie. The fourth time in a row. The Purge franchise is something of an enigma to me. If you guys have seen my first couple Purge reviews, you know I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise. The first one had a great concept but was wasted on a really awful home invasion thriller. The second one decided to listen to criticism and expand outward, but still was just kind of a boring mess with no likable characters or anything really worth talking about. The third film fully embraced political satire and became something of a microcosm of the 2016 election, and was definitely my favorite of the bunch because it just embraced how wholeheartedly stupid the idea is, and just went balls to the wall over the top action, and it was hilarious. Now this film, the first Purge, does something wildly different yet again, and in my opinion it might be the best of the franchise so far. And that's not to say it's good, but it's definitely on the cusp of being good. The first Purge, yet again, takes a completely different route to the first three, this time taking on the guise of pretty much a political thriller. It takes concepts that were undertones in the first three films, mainly the Purge being government-funded class warfare and genocide, and explores them on a deeper level. Its particular narrative choices of who we focus on and who we follow really helped to cement itself as a political action thriller this time around. This time we follow Naya, an anti-Purge activist, Dimitri, who is a local gang leader who is trying to do the best for himself and his community and his family, and Marissa Tomei's Dr. Updale, the woman who created the Purge genuinely well-meaning as a social experiment to try and better society. It's particularly with those last two characters that this movie becomes genuinely fascinating. To Tomei, this really is just an experiment. She's trying to better the world. She's trying to better society by allowing people to release all their inner pent-up rage, but the results aren't what she expected. People aren't actively going out to murder. Mostly they're acting in their self-interests. Looting, robbing, throwing wild parties, having sex in public. This doesn't sit well with the government who's funding this project. And it's at this point, when they're not getting the results they hoped for, that they commandeer the experiment and begin outsourcing militias and mercenaries and death squads to go out and kill people under the guise of gangs and ordinary US citizens who are just releasing their pent-up aggression. And it's all a big lie, it's all a giant farce, all to make the Purge seem more successful than it is. Because in appearing successful, they can bring this nationwide and use it to further their own agendas, mainly being cutting down on overpopulation and poverty, not by passing legislation that will help all of society, but rather by eliminating the impoverished as a whole through the Purge as government-funded genocide. So when these government-funded death squads go out to the streets and start killing indiscriminately, it's up to Dimitri and his gang to save his neighborhood as best he can. Sound familiar? Wow, it's almost like the new founding fathers of America are a weird allegory for the GOP currently infecting our government today in real society. It's almost like the Purge is a macrocosm for the current socio-political climate that we're living in. Granted, I mean, it's not exactly subtle about it, but it's not trying to be. Honestly, the parts of the film that delved into that aspect of the Purge, I thought were awesome. It was unique, it was inventive, it explored ideas that people aren't talking about enough. And I really do love that media as a whole seems to be waking up more and realizing that our government is corrupt and that it is not acting in our best interests. Movies like Get Out, movies like The Purge, shows like The Handmaid's Tale really are delving into that and exploring that idea. And I really, truly appreciate that. I'm so here for this whole cultural awakening that's going on. That being said, Everything that was interesting about this movie was horribly undercut by the fact that it tried to be a Purge film as well. It was still going for the over-the-top characters and action, despite the fact that they felt very out of place. It was still going for the crazy over-the-top generic action and horror movie cliches. Thank you, Blumhouse. There are a ton of jump scares, most of which don't even really have a point to them. There are a lot of just pointless characters who are running around just being crazy, because it's the Purge. There are some political references that are a little too on the nose, mainly a pussy grabber line that just feels really out of place and is very obviously ADR'd in there. It just felt like the very low-hanging fruit version of saying fuck Trump. And mind you, I have no issue with a movie saying fuck Trump, because honestly, fuck Trump. But I feel there are more subtle ways to say it, especially when you're making a film that is an art piece dedicated to that. The whole craft of filmmaking is using visuals to express a point or tell a story, and having a character just say it in an awkward moment of ADR felt a little forced to me. Basically what I'm getting at is, in spite of all the political intrigue, there's also a lot of stupid bullshit. There are two characters in this film named Skeletor and Dolores. Neither of them fit here at all. They either serve as just being an outlet for crazy horror movie Purge people, or Deus Ex Machina, or really annoying comic relief that has no place in a film like this. Every time they come on screen, it just really is distracting and serves to undercut some of the best elements of this film. Which is a shame, because like I said, it's right on the cusp of being good. It's almost there, but these elements that just feel very out of place in this movie really take away from that. That being said, if you enjoy the other Purge films, I have no doubt in my mind you'll also enjoy this one. Even if you didn't, you still might enjoy this one. I am not a fan of the first two Purge movies. The third one I only liked ironically. This one I actually kind of liked. I certainly don't regret seeing it. I'm going to say that the first Purge is good for fans of the Purge films. It's got some nice political commentary sprinkled in there, and it makes the movie feel a bit less shallow, even when there's a bunch of really stupid shit happening on screen at the time. It's not subtle about it at all, but it's not trying to be subtle about it. This whole film has some really interesting stuff to say, and if it continues down this path, I would love to see the next film because I'm curious what they're going to say next. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this and you want to see more, click down there, like, comment, subscribe, or dislike it, because I'm sure some of you are going to be real butthurt about the political shit I said in this video. You do you, fam. I don't really give a shit. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the first Purge. Let me know if you thought it was better than the others, worse than the others, if you thought it was too blatant, if you thought it wasn't blatant enough. Whatever you thought, comment them down there. I want to know what you thought about it. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.
Just remember all the good the Purge does.